Another way we could respond to behavior we don't like is to shine the light of consciousness on our own feelings and needs. Rather than going up to our head to make a mental analysis of wrongness of the other person, we could choose to connect to the life that is within us. This life energy is most palpable and accessible when we focus on what we need in each moment. For example, if someone arrives late for an appointment and we need reassurance that the person cares about us, we may feel hurt. If instead our need is to spend time purposely and constructively, we may feel frustrated. If, on the other hand, our need is for 30 minutes of quiet solitude, we may be grateful for the person's tardiness. We might feel pleased. Thus, it's not the behavior of the other person, but our own need that causes our feelings. When we are connected to our need, whether it is for reassurance, purposefulness, or solitude, we are in touch with our life energy. We may have strong feelings, but we're never angry. Anger is a result of life-alienated thinking that is disconnected from needs. It indicates that we have moved up to our head to analyze and judge somebody, rather than focus on which of our needs is not being met. In addition to the option of focusing on our own feelings and needs, we have another choice at any moment, and that is to shine the light of our consciousness on the other person's feelings and needs. When we choose this option, we also never feel anger. We are not repressing the anger. Rather, we see how anger is simply absent in each moment, that we are fully present with the other person's feelings and needs, or our feelings and needs. Sometimes I'm asked, aren't there circumstances in which anger is justified? Isn't righteous indignation called for in the face of careless, thoughtless pollution of the environment, for example? My answer is that I strongly believe that to whatever degree I support the consciousness that there is such a thing as a careless action, or a conscientious action, a greedy person, or a moral person, I believe in some way I'm really contributing to violence on this planet. Rather than agreeing or disagreeing about what people are for murdering, raping, or polluting the environment, I believe we serve life better by focusing attention on whether or not our needs are being met by such behavior. I see all anger as a result of life-alienating, violence-provocative thinking. That's the cause of the anger. I think at the root of all anger is a need that's not being fulfilled. Thus, anger can be valuable if we use it as an alarm clock to wake us up, to realize we have a need that isn't being met, and that we're thinking in a way that makes it unlikely that the need will be met. So to fully express anger, I would suggest that we need to be fully conscious of our need. In addition, energy is required to get the need met. Anger, however, co-opts our energy by directing it toward punishing people rather than directing the energy to meeting our needs. Instead of engaging in righteous indignation, I recommend connecting empathically with our own needs and those of others. This may take extensive practice, whereby over and over again we consciously replace the phrase, "I'm angry because they did what they did," with, "I'm angry because I'm needing," and we get in touch with what we're needing. I once was taught a remarkable lesson about anger while working with students in a correctional school in Wisconsin. On 2 successive days I was hit in the nose while I was trying to stop a fight between 2 young men. The first time I received a sharp blow across the nose from an elbow while I was breaking up the fight. I was so enraged it was all I could do to keep myself from hitting the child. On the streets of Detroit, where I grew up, it took far less than an elbow in the nose to provoke me to rage. The second day, a very amazing similar situation. I got hit in the same nose while breaking up a fight, and thus I had more physical pain than the day before, but I wasn't a bit angry. Reflecting deeply that evening on this experience, I recognized I had labeled the first child in my mind as a spoiled brat. That image was in my head before his elbow ever caught my nose. And when it did hit my nose, it was no longer simply an elbow hitting my nose. It was, that obnoxious brat has no right to do this. That judgment flew into my head so rapidly I wasn't even aware of it at the time. I had a different judgment about the second child. I saw that child as a pathetic creature. Since I had a tendency to worry about this child, even though my nose was hurting and bleeding more severely the second day, I felt no rage at all. I could not have received a more powerful lesson to help me see that it's not what other people do, but the images and interpretations in our heads that produces our anger.